I made a video just yesterday saying that the majority of people should be buying Bitcoin and focusing on Bitcoin, that they should be stacking Bitcoin instead of trying to get really deep into altcoins. The reason for that is it's very difficult for people to feel good about buying altcoins continuously and being able to get out of them as well, right? Like with Bitcoin, you can stack and stack and stack. You can hold for a long time. You don't have to try to pick the 1 in 100 crypto that's going to do much better, like small cap cryptos. However, we're at an interesting point where we are at a high point recently in Bitcoin dominance, where if you were going to do this for a short period of time, this is probably the time to do it. Everything is lining up in a way that we should have higher liquidity here in the system soon because the Fed is considering cutting rates. We are seeing stimulus. We are seeing Bitcoin continue to pump. And eventually there will be an alt season. Again, probably not right for everyone to focus on buying altcoins and trying to pick the best small cap altcoins. It's probably better just to stack Bitcoin heavy. That's what I do in my portfolio, but I do still have some altcoins for various reasons, which we'll be talking about in this video. And there are going to be people that want to know what altcoins look pretty attractive right now. So I want to go through that and kind of give you some of my thoughts on the market right now, what's happening, and what altcoins are looking juicy if you did want to stack altcoins. Now, like I said, I am 85 to 90% Bitcoin. So just keep that in mind. But there are some altcoins that are looking really attractive. Now, if you do want to trade crypto, there's a link to Bydfi underneath the video. You can get started trading in just a few minutes, and you can use crypto as collateral. For example, you can trade Bitcoin with Bitcoin as collateral. You can trade Ethereum with Ethereum as collateral. You can trade Solana with Solana as collateral, or XRP with XRP as collateral. The reason I bring this up is you can get rewarded in the token that you want to trade, so you can get even bigger returns. There's a link to it underneath the video that gives you between a 20 and 60% deposit bonus, depending on how much you deposit. And if you want to follow me over on Rumble, I'll leave a link to this underneath the video as well. Now, on Wednesday, China and the US apparently have a deal. Subject to final approval with President Xi and me, full magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied upfront by China. Likewise, we will provide to China what was agreed upon, including Chinese students being able to use our colleges and universities. They give the tariff rates to their. I've seen some conflicting reports with this, but it sounds like China and the US are making a trade deal. It's not official yet, but it's looking like that's going to happen. CPI coming in lower than expected. We have stimulus coming out of China. Stimulus coming out of the US as well, with the big beautiful bill that is still trying to be pushed through, and Trump saying that every kid born right now between now and 2029 should receive a brokerage account with money in it. Like, there's just going to be a ton of money printing. The Fed is also looking at lowering rates. It's expected that they start lowering by a quarter basis point in September, and then 2 rate cuts by the end of the year. So we're moving into a time of higher liquidity. It seems like they pretty much stuck the landing. The economy is still good in the US as far as we can tell. Inflation rates are down. So in a time of in a lower rate time period, risk on assets are going to do quite well. Over the last few years, it's been amazing what Bitcoin's been able to do, even with high rates. And that's because we've seen so many big purchasers, from MicroStrategy to Metaplanet to BlackRock. All these different companies and entities have been buying. But in a lower interest rate environment, this should be like nitrous to Bitcoin. It should push up the prices pretty heavily. Now, I think when you're looking at buying, like I talked about earlier, like Bitcoin probably is what you want to weight down your portfolio. It performs extremely well, and you don't have to be nervous. It's going to be here in 5 years. It's going to be here in 50 years. It's going to perform very well because governments continue to print money. Politicians are inherently greedy. This offers good technology, and it also allows you to be self-sovereign over your wealth. So this is going to continue to get inflows as it gets bigger too. There are some entities that are willing to buy it at 200,000, aren't willing to buy it now. However, Bitcoin dominance has gone up a lot. At the bottom of the bear market, it's funny, the bottom of the bear market, Bitcoin was the lowest in terms of dominance, which is kind of crazy to think about. But the bottom of the market, when FTX was collapsing, Bitcoin dominance was around 40%. Now we're around 64%. We have not seen altcoins pump very hard at all. A lot of altcoins are lagging behind. There are only a couple that have outperformed Bitcoin over the last couple months, couple of years even. But there will be a time where people get greedy again, where people want to invest into smaller caps because they think they'll outperform. And we're starting to see some glimpses that they might outperform. So again, long term, I think it's probably just simpler to invest heavily into Bitcoin and ride it out. But if you want to get into altcoins, it's typically a good time to do that when they're at rock bottom prices. And right now, against Bitcoin, they are. We might see inflows continue into the Bitcoin ETFs, which continue to juice up Bitcoin versus the altcoins. But we could also have exposure to altcoins here quite soon. For example, the Ethereum ETFs, right? They're approved. The spot ETFs are approved. They may get staking here soon. And we're starting to see Ethereum bounce against Bitcoin a little bit. You can see since the bottom back at the end of April, Ethereum's outperformed Bitcoin by 50%. That's pretty good. Now, if it gets to the midpoint of this range, it would be a 200% gain. So another 150% gain versus Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up 100%, Ethereum is going to perform extremely well. We're still in this, well, you can see here, we kind of triple bottomed here from 2019 and 2020, hit the same point against Bitcoin in April of 2025. And we're still in this range. We jumped back into the range that we had seen previously, this downtrend. I'd really like to see Ethereum break out above this trend line, which is around a 30% gain from here versus Bitcoin. So, I mean, you're looking at high 3,000s or low 4,000s against Bitcoin still being around 110, 115,000. So Ethereum really has to break out heavy to do anything or to look like it's really going to break out to the upside, because we can pop back in this range and then just continue down and maybe even break a new low. I mean, we've done that before where we fell below it, came back above, and then broke down. So I really want something convincing from Ethereum. But again, with interest rates coming down, with global liquidity going up, we could see Ethereum bounce pretty hard. And with staking on ETFs, that's quite attractive to investors. We've actually seen a lot of inflows into the Ethereum ETFs over the last couple weeks. Now, I want to talk about some other big caps here in a second, but first, a word from Sharpe AI. Now, I take a second to talk about Sharpe AI, which is a leading AI-powered crypto super app designed for crypto intelligence and execution. You can see a lot of people are following this. Let me actually slap that follow here. I'll leave links to it underneath the video as it is a partner of the channel. Now, we've seen alts just get destroyed for the last couple weeks. This thing has gone down a lot. It's actually at near the low prices, so it's pretty much at support. You can see here. These were the prices that was floating around in September, October, November, and then around the Trump presidency. Actually, you can see the day of the presidency, it started to pump up a massive amount. From the bottom here to the top, it went up 520%. Since then, it's come down a lot. And like I said, it is a small crypto. It's in AI. I think AI is going to pump pretty hard. And I think altcoins will do fairly well. Just people are totally destroyed mentally on alts right now. And this does have the main investor that's in BitTensor, which is Contango Capital. They're also investing and supporting Sharpe AI as well. So you can check this out underneath the video. The SEC also is considering approving the Solana ETFs. Bloomberg is saying that it could happen within the next month. A lot of people want exposure to crypto assets that have staking. I have some Solana now, and I love it in a Solana ETF. I'd love to be able to get staking within like a brokerage account or a retirement account, be able to trade this with some tax shelter as well. So I think this will bring in a lot of capital. I think there are a lot of people that want exposure to Ethereum, that want exposure to Solana versus Ethereum still. If you look at CoinMarketCap, Ethereum's around a $340 billion market cap, while Solana is 87. So Solana is still 1/4 the size of Ethereum. Like I said, I would love to have some Solana ETFs. XRP is also one that you have to look at. Recently, Ripple's RLUSD supply surged to 320 million with a record 648 million in weekly volume. The Dubai Financial Authority now officially approves RLUSD for use in the Dubai International Financial Center. RLUSD obviously is much smaller than USDT or USDC, but it's got one of the biggest backers in crypto with Ripple, one of the most well-capitalized companies in crypto in the world. And recently, Circle Internet Group went public. This is the company that owns /operates USDC. And they went up 3x or 4x since they started trading about a week ago. This is a $28 billion company. So you start thinking about how much this is worth, how much stablecoins are worth to these companies. I mean, again, the market cap is $28 billion, and what USDC is around $61 billion in market cap. So this is extremely valuable. Having a stablecoin that does well is a perpetual money printer. So I think Ripple is going to put a lot of money behind RLUSD, trying to get it adopted. And also, I think they'll make a lot of money from RLUSD, and they might pump it back into XRP, because that is why RLUSD is being talked about so much by retail investors. They want XRP to do well also because, they can sell tokens, right? Now, XRP is one of the strongest communities out there too. Like, whether you like XRP or not, some people don't like it. The fact is, the people that buy it absolutely love it and think they're going to get rich from it. So they're going to be holders even at $4, $5, $6, right? So you might be able to get in, take some profits before the bear market eventually hits. Now, some people don't think we're going to have a bear market. We actually just saw Michael Saylor say that he doesn't think we're going into another bear market.
How do you expect the asset to continue a price increase at these levels that we've seen? I mean, can it keep that up over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years? And at what point do we see, winter coming again? Because that's been a permanent fixture of this asset class, right? It's gone from 0 or 1,000 to 20, and then back down to 3 or 4, and then up to 50, and then back down to 15, and now up to 110. Like, when does it drop again?
Winter's not coming back. We're past that. We're past that phase. If Bitcoin's not going to 0, it's going to $1 million. And you have all the evidence you need to determine that, right? The President of the United States has determined he supports Bitcoin. The cabinet supports Bitcoin. Scott Bessent supports Bitcoin. Paul Atkins has shown himself to be an enthusiastic believer of Bitcoin and digital assets. Ken Taz at CFTC feels the same way. The banks are going to custody Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gotten through its riskiest period. The accounting has been corrected. There's now only 450 Bitcoin a day available for sale by natural sellers. That's the miners. At this level, that works out to about $50 million of Bitcoin available for sale every day. If that $50 million is bought, then the price has got to move up to find any seller that's price sensitive. Now, if you do the math, you'll actually see the Bitcoin treasury companies by themselves are buying the entire natural supply.
Yeah. BlackRock
and the ETFs are buying another measure of that. And we've got nation state actors coming into the space. So I think when Bitcoin rallies, if it surges to 500,000 or $1 million, then maybe we could talk about it crashing down by $200,000 a coin. But at the current price levels, it only takes $50 million to turn the entire drive shaft of the crypto economy one turn. And you've got the Trump media organization announcing $2.5 billion. You've got GameStop announcing $500 million. You've got my company that's raising billions and billions of dollars. So the writing is on the wall. Bitcoin's moving higher.
Yeah, Bitcoin's moving higher. Now, the question is, are we going to see another bear market? It depends on how you define bear markets. 70% drawdown, maybe we don't see that again for a very long time. But bear market being 20 or 30%, yeah, we're going to see that. We saw that this year. We saw that the year before. We saw that the year before. So yeah, be ready for some volatility. Now, when you go down the list, like there are other cryptocurrencies that you could invest in that I think provide good returns. SUI, for example, very volatile. Just 6 days ago, it was at $2.90. Now it's at $3.50. Like it moves extremely fast. Was that 20, 30% move just in the last 5 days, 6 days. So SUI, I think, is interesting as well. Very quick blockchain that a lot of people like. Still small. I don't want to say small market cap, but small compared to like Solana, Ethereum, etc. And it seems to be the big winner throughout the beginning part of the bull market. I think it could pump pretty hard too. And that's where I'm going to cap the list. Like I think there are going to be some smaller caps that do well, but largely, like if you're trying to build up a portfolio, I'd be focusing on the big caps, and specifically, I'd be weighing it down with Bitcoin. And if you want to go more risk on, you can always use some leverage, but make sure you know what you're doing. There's a link to this underneath the video. There's also a link to Sharpe AI. Thank you so much to Sharpe AI for being a sponsor of the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.